Good morning, good evening, good day, good night, wherever you are in the world. I am Tim, back once again for the Speed Force Racing GP2 Series Austrian Grand Prix. But with a different co-commentator this week, we have Bossy Gaming, the newly announced permanent GP5 commentator. How are you doing?
Good evening, Tim. I'm doing great. How are you?
I am doing fine, ready to see some nice hard racing action around the Red Bull ring. Red Bull gives you wings, but today I think we're going to see a lot of those wings getting broke off into these very tight corners. What do you think?
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of damage on track today.
A lot of damage. You say that so casually. You say that so casually, like you've already raced this week and you've already seen it.
I've seen a lot of things some people shouldn't really see. I've seen Formula 1 cars in this game do things that Formula 1 cars shouldn't do.
Why couldn't we have had this conversation like 5 minutes ago? I cannot make the joke I want to make because we are streaming, but we are about to get underway and the qualifying is about to start, so that doesn't even matter. I can't believe you did that to me. I want to make a joke so bad right now.
Left him on a cliffhanger for the end of the stream.
Yes, you did.
And anyway, Collie's about to begin. Let's run through some track facts. So, the Red Bull Ring, formerly known as the Austria Ring, spans a length of 2.68 miles, has 10 corners, 6 to the right, 4 to the left, 3 DRS zones at elevation changes of approximately 63.5 meters. In qualifying, we will be seeing the use of the C5, C4 and C3 compound tyres, that is the C5 soft, C4 medium and C3 hards. What do we think today's race is going to be like, Tim?
Well, today I think we're going to see a lot of differing strategies, whereas most people are probably going to try to go for the two-stopper. I feel like there might be a few brave souls to go out there for a one-stopper, but already with 3 divisions down this week in SFR, we already have a little bit of a taste of what the on-track action is going to look like. Very calm for the most part. In GP5, a couple of spins and wrecks here and there. And then for GP3, there was actually a huge wreck on the front straightaway in the opening lap, which you got a pretty good view of. So, no matter how you look at it, today is going to be filled with a lot of crazy, intense stuff happening. And another thing you got to look out for, you're going to see a lot of time penalties, especially out of that final corner. The track penalties, the detection zone, whatever you want to call it, it is so sensitive around this track. So out of turn 1 especially, and out of the final corner, is going to be the one that catches drivers out the most.
Yeah, but I'd also say turn 8, you come out from the long left-hander, you might have to go wide at some points because the car does like to go the opposite direction.
So Morris out on track, the first car to blink out on track, right on board with him for his outlap. Morris last week looked like he had a good run, maybe even a win at the French Grand Prix before ultimately that not happening for him, so he's going to be looking for a better result. Now, granted, he did still rebound to a podium, which is impressive in its own right, but it was basically his race to lose, and he ultimately lost it.
Well, GP2's championship leader is Karen Robb with 109 championship points. Second is SFR Morris with 64 points. And in third is Chain Game Wow with 51 championship points. Who do you think will sit at the top of the timings today, Tim?
Well, the man I'm looking at right now, Morris, could very well be one of those drivers at the top of the board. But Carwin Robb, as you were mentioning, I really feel like he's going to be one of the top 3 as well. It seems each and every week that this man is going to be in contention, not only for the pole, but for the win itself. Morris is usually right up there with him as well. It's going to be the Morris and Robb show, I'd say, all year long. So we're watching Morris as he is just now in the second sector, just got out of the hairpin. Let's see how he takes this downhill right-hander. And nice into third gear, keeping it tight on the apex. Very hard on the braking. That is a difficult corner to get slowed down for. And then these little S's, this downhill left hill section that leads into the S's, that is just a horrible section for me in general. It's very hard to keep a nice, straight, consistent line through there. You can use a little bit more curve than what you would expect, but if you get into that green stuff, you're going to spin and you're not going to have a good time. Through the final corner, Morris keeps it on track barely, uses that DRS and crosses the line, and he will set a 104.1. That's your time to beat.
I think today we might be seeing 103.7s, 103.6s from some of these drivers. I'm surprised not many of them have gone out on the mediums. So far only Calvin is on the medium tyre, so I think it's going to be everyone on softs today.
Of course, if one of these drivers could find the pace on the medium tire and start in the top 10, that would pretty much be ideal, because the soft tires are going to wear out fairly quickly, as they do at most tracks, just the nature of soft tires. And then they could try reverse strategy when everyone goes on to the mediums later on. Is wow, Gadabo, he almost bent it out of turn number 1. He has invalidated this lap, so there's going to be no time for that McLaren driver at the moment. Luke Bailey rounding the final corner, about to cross the line, and he will go to third, a 105.3. Luke Bailey, probably one of the busiest men in SFR. He races in this league, he races in another league. I just commentated on a race he ran yesterday, and he got a podium in that one. So maybe he's going to get 2 for 2, but it was a different track.
Well, Tim, I have just realised with some insider information why every single driver is qualifying on the soft tyre.
What is that?
We have a wet race.
Oh my goodness. That
From the
is
start
what they were not wanting.
till the end, we have rain. Good old-fashioned wet weather driving.
It's raining, it's pouring, the old man is snoring. Let's get ready for a wet race then in Austria.
I think this is catching most drivers off guard, because I know some of these drivers have only prepared dry setups. So it's going to be interesting to see if these drivers are going to be running their wet setups during qualification, or they're just going to brave it and try with their dry setups.
Honestly, they probably need to convert to a wet setup. Of course, if you're already out on track, you are very limited on what you can do. But if you have not got out on the track yet, then you can still change that setup and be okay.
Well, SFR Morris has just set the fastest lap of the session provisionally with a 103.874.
We'll jump down here to Shu in the AlphaTauri. See what he's doing through the second sector, just out of turn 4. Maybe we should call that the Hamilton-Albon corner, just for obvious reasons.
Or the Perez-Norris corner.
Okay, yeah, there is also that, but he has invalidated his lap, so Shu not going to set a time on this lap. Senna Martins in the Ferrari. Let's take a look at him, see what he's able to do. He is not invalidated, so he's going to be okay. He's about the same section.
G. Maxarius is on fastest first, purple second.
Here's Maxorus in the third sector, rounding the final corner. We'll ride on board with him until he crosses that line. Let's see what Maxorus can do. Will he get the pole position? No, he will not. It is a 104.102, his best lap. Good enough for second at the moment. He's going to have to pull him back into the pits and then try it again.
Yeah, I'm just going to see if I can invite X Gamer back to the session.
Cassidy in the Alpine. He is on a flying lap. Of course, his teammate Sonicok already set a lap, a 104.750, good enough for 7th at the moment. Sonicok on his out lap, so going to try another round in this Alpine. Let's see what Cassidy can do here. Purple in the second sector.
Gonna have a qualification battle between McCauley and Schwab. Schwab just setting a 103.986. He's going to get the DRS off the back of McCauley.
As Cassidy crosses the line, he will go to 7th, a 104.432. Now let's take a look at McCauley. McCauley in the Aston Martin. right on board with him now. And I gotta say, I really do love the way that the Aston Martin's graphics and the stickers around the Halo look this year. It's just, maybe I'm biased because I'm an Aston Martin fan and because it's technically a new team, but for some reason it just looks good. It just looks different. It's a refreshing change of pace.
The only thing I don't like about the Aston Martin is whoever decided to stick a big pink stripe running down the center of the car. Or on the side of the car, more like.
See, I actually don't mind that. I think it complements the car because they still stay traditional to the British racing green. They just added a small stripe. I can see why people would have an issue with it, but I almost think it complements it. Macaulay goes to 104.1. Oh, go ahead, Bossy.
I think it would look better with that. The lime green stripe as we see on the Halo, I think if that was in place of and on the rear wing, if that was in place of the pink stripe, I think everyone would fall in love with the Aston Martin.
I for one am not into the lime green. Even looking at these runoff areas at this track, I see that lime green, and maybe that's why I only hit it once during qualifying, because I just hated lime green so much I didn't want to get near it.
Yeah, that lime green, you cannot trust it whatsoever.
Oh no, you really can. I don't know if it was you or if it was Smoke that told me that when you hit it, you're gonna spin. Whoever it was, they weren't lying. Luke Bailey, though, 104.597 in the Alfa Romeo. The lap's winding down here. Carwin Robb, he invalidated his last lap that he tried to set, so he still does not have a time on the board. Looks like he's going to go for one more lap just to get that banker in. Maybe he'll have time to pull into the pits, put a fresh set of Dr. Feelgoods, and go out once more. But that has yet to be seen. Carwin Robb still has to at least get a time on the board. Purple in the first sector.
I think we're going to be expecting a lot of things from Carwin Robb being the championship leader and with his qualification performance up there in the top 5, top 3 on the starting grid.
Wait, a disqualification?
Not a disqualification, qualification.
Oh. I was about to say, it's like, when did Carwin Robb get disqualified? I didn't hear about that.
I don't think any of these drivers have ever been disqualified. I think the only driver that's been disqualified in a physical race so far by Codemasters is, unfortunately, SFR British guy in GP2 as Carwin Robb sets a 103.812. He passed the safety car in France and was automatically disqualified from the session.
Now, did he get a chance to let the safety car pass him back by? Because I was in that race. Obviously, I didn't see what happened. I just heard that he was disqualified, and then I continued on with my race.
SFR Morrison 103.783. I haven't got a clue, but by the sounds of his stream, he didn't sound very happy. Let's put it that way.
Oh, I am sure not. You know, I've known Luke for a while now. Almost as long as I've known Oliver, just obviously by association. And he's very passionate about what he does here at SFR, but as with most of us, he can definitely get a bit mad. Of course, coming from me, everyone else seems fairly calm.
Carwin Robb was on the purple first, purple second sector, which was invalidated coming out the final corner. Would have been a 103.660.
So watching TRT Trench, his teammate, as he is about to start his flying lap. He's the only driver that has yet to set a lap time here. So Trench, who has found some speed as of late, maybe we could see him battling somewhere in that top 3.
Well, I'm on board with Shave at the minute. Purple first, purple second sector. And it is provisional pole for Schreiber, 103.548. Blisteringly fast lap from him in the AlphaTauri.
So good job to Shu, a 0.2 of a second difference between him and Morris. And here I thought it was going to be the Morris and Carwin Robb show. And then Shu shows up and say, hey, you know what? No, I'm going to throw my hat into the ring. So he's up there, 2.10s better. Let's see what Trench can do, though.
Trench has invalidated his lap.
Oh, yeah, it looks like he has. I just noticed that myself, so he's not going to set a lap time this time. Let's take a look instead at X Gamer. He is on a flying lap in that Ferrari, but he's going to be looking for a better lap time than he's got, but he's invalidated as well. What about Crowhawk? He is also invalidated and pulling into the pits. So all of these guys just teasing us at the moment. Sonic Hawk in P11 right now, 104.475, his best lap time. He is on his out lap, about to start his flying lap. Let's see what the boss man can do.
Currently leading the constructor standings is Haas on 141 points, Alfa Romeo on 75 points, Mercedes on 64, Red Bull 60. So there is a little bit of a battle for today's race between Mercedes and Red Bull for 4 points.
And that makes it all the more interesting when you throw in the constructor standings battles. We're always talking about the championship battle. And we have talked about how Carwin, Robb, Morris, Trench, these guys are the ones that early on are starting to look like the championship contenders. Of course, there's still plenty of time for that to change, but so far that's what it's looking like. That the constructors battle really kind of gets lost in all of that information. But you are correct that with the constructor standings, it has been no surprise to anyone that Haas would be leading, and by a pretty decent margin.
Because you've also got, when you're a driver, so let's say Karen Robb, he's also got to think about playing the game for his teammates as well. If he's up in, let's say, P5 and he isn't going to be making a move and his teammate's in P7 and there's a driver a second behind, we've also got to think of team tactics and maybe slowing down for you, helping your teammate out, speeding up, sorting pit stop strategies out, all of this, and letting them pass on the racetrack when they're faster than you. And some teams that might be difficult, but in other teams, pretty easy. Look at Haas, 141 points, 7 races in, not doing too bad.
Watching Stocksy 9 in the Williams. He's on his out lap, about to start his flying lap. And while we got a little bit of downtime, I actually do want to take a moment to say something. I promised him I'd do this. Smoke, here is your shout out, my friend. When I was invited for the GP5 interview, he messaged me joking with me later on, hey, be sure to thank your race engineer next time. And then I realized it totally slipped my mind. I promised him I'd give him a shout out on Wednesday. Smoke, thank you for helping me and Sander. He got the win. I got a top 5. You are awesome. I hope you're watching. If you're not watching, well, then you're going to have to rewind the stream, my friend.
We'll make sure we save a timestamp for him, and we'll label it Smokes Thanks.
There you go.
Most drivers are in the pits at the minute. Stocksy 9 is out on track. He's just invalidated his lap. G Mixarius is about to start his new hot lap, but he's 3 thousandths slower coming out the first sector. SFR Morris is just starting his new hot lap.
Oh, Stocksy 9. He invalidated. Let's go take a look at Maxorus now.
Maxorus finding struggle to improve around this track. 4,000, down on his time.
Rounding the final corner, Maxorus, his best time, a 103.784. Let's see if he improves on that. He crosses the line. Does he go to pole? No, he goes to second, 103.696.
SFR Morris currently 2/10 down in his time. I think he is slowing down to get one more hot lap in on these tyres. Shoaib's just begun his lap. Maybe he's going to try and improve. Omar has just spun. He's done Lando Norris coming out the first turn.
Morris starting his second and final lap through turn 1, very fast through there, using every bit of curve, a little bit of a wiggle, but hangs on to it. Nice DRS zone here. You're going to see a lot of overtakes going into this hairpin. Hard on the brakes, a fantastic line through that hairpin. I think that's the smoothest I have seen that corner taken all week.
So currently traffic heading into turns 9, turns 10 is quite high. Traffic heading into turn 6, turn 7. These drivers are squabbling, especially because of this wet race. It's going to be hard to overtake in these conditions, as there's a yellow flag and it looks like there's an Alfa Romeo that's gone off, and he's in the track. Crowhawk.
Don't know if Morris had to check up for that Alfa Romeo or not. It looked like he got out of the way as soon as he possibly could. Let's see what Morris can do. He crosses the line, but it's a 103.783. It's going to be his qualifying time. He did not improve on that. So Morris, the best he can do now is third. Shu is on a lap. Carbon Rob, he did not improve his lap time either, so he's going to be in fourth. Here is Shu in the AlphaTauri. He has got one more lap to go if he wants to go ahead and complete this lap as a fast lap. Otherwise, he will have the provisional pole, assuming that someone else in the field does not have something.
Cassidy's gone.
Oh, yeah, big wreck there from Cassidy. But his teammate of Sonicok, he is on his final lap, and he is looking good so far. He's going to cross the line. Where does he go? 7th place, a 104.079. A good qualifying for Sonicok in just his second race back.
Chain game wow is now looking promising, although he has just gone a little bit slower coming into his second sector.
Senna Martins looks like he is on a lap. We'll take a look at him, but he is invalidated. So Senna will not do any better than 14th today, at least at the qualifying. Chain game wow, coming around the final corner to cross the line. Does he improve at all? No, he does not. It's a 104.059, just 0.4 of a second off of X Gamers 104.056.
So that is your qualification for today's race.
So congratulations to Shu. No one else can best that time. He has the pole with a 103.548 in that AlphaTauri. Maybe he can turn it into a win, maybe not. We will wait and see at the end of 36 laps, just waiting to run out the clock, which I have a funny feeling that we're going to have to run out the entire clock, which means 1 minute and 15 seconds. Oh, nope. Good. The game made a liar out of me. The one time I want the game to make a liar out of me, and it does. Good job. Didn't want to run that clock out. And here is your official starting lineup for the Speed Force Racing GP2 Series Austrian Grand Prix. Shu on the pole, Maxlerus in second, Morris in third, Carbon Robin fourth, Cassidy in fifth, X Gamer sixth, seventh is Chain Game Wow, Sonicok in eighth, ninth is Calvin Racing, Stoxy 9 in 10th, Kara in 11th, Macaulay in 12th, 13th is Luke Bailey, Senna Martins in 14th, Omer in 15th, 16th is Gadabo, and Trench in 17th with Crowhawk in the 18th position.
It's going to be an interesting race. Do we think Codemasters will do the drivers dirty and start them on the softs, on the dry tyres?
I'm not even racing and I don't want to think about that scenario.
We've had a few of those scenarios in the past seasons, and it's not very nice to enjoy, let's say that.
I remember a GP4 race. I don't know if this was maybe Russia last season. Probably not, but there was...
Yes, it was. It was Russia GP2, GP3. I know there was a big accident in GP4, but I think it was either GP2, GP3.
Well, no, I'm talking about at the start of the race. It might have been GP4, unless it was in another league, but I'm fairly confident it was SFR, where me and my co-com, which if it was GP4 would have been Oliver, we were freaking out at the start. Because we're sitting here and we see all these drivers on soft tires when it's raining. And we're thinking, what are you doing? Why are you choosing the soft tires? And then when we noticed that it was literally everybody, we kind of deciphered, well, wait a minute. It looks like they probably weren't able to change. So then you saw a lot of guys coming in on that first lap for inters. A few of them tried staying out. It was just a mess.
Sounds like the Hungarian Grand Prix that we've just had.
Oh boy.
Rain doesn't look that heavy compared to last night's rain. The weather has settled a little bit, so I do think they'll be starting on intermediates. Some maybe go for wets, or they may all go for wets. But we're about to have a look.
I'd say that it's definitely an intermediate tire start here. And it is a wall of green.
Hopefully they won't be seeing a wall of green after this race.
Well, racing around the Red Bull Ring in the rain, I don't think you're going to have to worry about seeing green. I think you're going to have to worry about seeing red instead.
Yep. Well,
So
who do you think our top 3 drivers are going to be today?
Oh, yes, prediction time. So, chat, you can join in on this too. Just give us your top 3 prediction, a nice, fun little game that we like to play. And I am going to go with... Oh, man, you know, I thought it'd be easy, but it's not. I mean, I kind of feel like Shu having the clean air out in front of him is going to help him, but the rain pretty much compromises everything because he's fast in the dry. We have seen that. We don't know about the wet setup. I think I'm going to have to go with Cassidy, X-Gamer, and Calvin in any order. Really throwing a curveball in there.
Alright, well if you're going to throw in a curveball, I'm going to throw in an even bigger curveball. Macaulay for the win. Macaulay for the win. Godobbo, second. Sonic Hawk, third. And yeah, that's my big curveball.
What a rebound that would be for Sonic Hawk, though.
Yeah, after coming back from a 3-week break due to personal issues, he's now back on track and back in form, qualifying P8.
Yeah, Sonic Hawk definitely has not had the easiest go of things here as of late, but still good to see him here and, you know, not only helping out SFR, but just being able to race and try to enjoy himself. And, you know, he knows we're all here for him, and, you know, we're always going to poke fun at him, too.
Oh.
Drivers finding their appropriate positions on the grid. 18 cars in the field today. Going to be led off of the start by Shu. Going to be 36 laps around the Red Bull Ring, and here you go. You hear those engines revving. You hear those itchy pedal feet. The drivers watching the lights. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights in the air. No red lights. We are green for a wet Speed Force Racing GP2 Series Austrian Grand Prix. Shu does not get a good start, but Maximus does. In the back, it's 3 wide, almost with the Mercedes and Morris in the middle. It is 3 wide, though, with a Ferrari. It's X-Gamer, and he is dropping back down. He's all the way into 10th now. Calvin Racing all the way down into 10th with X-Gamer making the move over him. So now X-Gamer moves up into 9th place, and they're still jostling around for position behind him. Morris in front of him. He's having a nice battle, trying to get up into the podium position once more. He's got the 2 Alpines of Cassidy and Sonic Hawk riding with him nose to tail, and now the Alpha Tauri of who is that? That is Shane Game. Wow, 4 wide down the straightaway. 3 wide now into turn number 4. Yellow flag in sector 2. There might be a crash, just as Bossy said. And we're still 3 wide, 2 wide now. What has happened with that crash, Bossy?
I think Stock C9 just got a little bit of wheel spin heading out of turns 3 and just went straight into the wall. I think he's got front wing damage on his right hand side, but I think it'd be safe for him to continue. I think he just has to box this lap.
Meanwhile, Cassidy and Chain Game Wow really fighting it out. Cassidy going around Chain Game Wow for the 4th position. The AlphaTauri driver looking like he is really struggling at the moment. Moore is struggling as well. Fastest lap is Maxerus, a 117.831.
Another driver's gone, another driver's gone. That's X-Gamer's fun.
So bad day goes to worse for X-Gamer, and I think we're starting to see now who had a dry setup and who had a wet setup. Sonic Hawk trying to make a move around Morris, though, looking on the outside of the hairpin. Does he do it? He actually does almost. Will he be able to kick into overtake and go? I think he might be able to. There goes Sonic Hawk around Morris, and he has officially cleared him, but Morris is going to stay on the inside line, try to outbreak him into turn number 4. It's a side-by-side battle, and Morris has the advantage, but Sonic Hawk might have some momentum. Morris pushes him a little bit wide. Sonic Hawk gets a little loose, saves it, but he holds on to the 7th position, does not improve.
GRT Trench and Macaulay currently fighting, heading into turn 6. Another yellow flag, something's happened.
Oh, and there was contact just now between Macaulay and Trench. A little bit of contact through that corner. Neither of them really wanting to give. Trench drops down to 9th. Macaulay up to 8th now.
Good start from Trench, all the way coming from, was it P... Let me have a look. So Trench starting all the way in P17, if my maths are correct. He's now up into P9. It's a great start from him and the Haas. Macaulay from P12 now in P8. Trench now goes on down the inside of Macaulay, trying to get the overtake done.
Major outbraking maneuver, small contact with that front wing of Macaulay as he made the pass. Hopefully for Macaulay's sake, there is no minor wing damage.
Yellow flag. It's the Ferrari. Senna's gone. Senna's spun.
So both Ferraris out of the count here now. The battle for second place starting to heat up. Carl and Rob getting close to Shu. Had it down to 0.3 of a second there for a moment. Chain Game Wow trying to get around Cassidy as well behind them for fourth.
Now the field is starting to spread themselves out a little bit. Mazaris is in the lead now after just overtaking Schweier. Rob on the back of Schweier. Schweier almost lost it heading out with turns 10. Recovered, but he's dropped down to P3. Cassidy slowly closing in on him, so is Chain Game Wow.
Right on board with Chain Game Wow through turn 1. Let's just take a look at what these drivers are seeing. And you see when you get behind a car, there's a lot of spray, and you can't see past that car quite as easily. I've seen it worse in the past than what we're looking at today, but it still is a distraction for the drivers. So it is no easy task what they are undertaking right now to go out here and run such fast laps to the win.
Back to Cassidy. Goes for the lunge on the inside. Gets a little bit squirrely coming out in turns 5. Side by side through 6. Still side by side coming through 7 and 8.
Cassidy got a good run out of that corner, and he might have just cleared Chain Game Wow. He did before they got to the pit entrance. So good job to Cassidy for a great defensive maneuver over Chain Game Wow as Carwin Robb sets the fastest lap, a 1:13.489. That is the second or third 1:13 that I've seen him run. He is pretty consistent around here.
Tim, take a look at turns 3. Look how dry it's slowly becoming up there and how wet it is on the start pit straight.
Actually, from my view, it looks like it's incredibly soaking around turn 3.
For me, it looks very dry. Sonic Hawk goes into the side of SFR Morrison. There's a VSC deployed. VSC has been deployed.
Will this be upgraded to a full safety car, or will it just be the normal version?
Crowhawk is out.
So what has happened to Crowhawk?
It looks like he has given up on track. If I'm not no, yes he has. He's given up on track. Senna has some sort of penalty. I am not sure what for though. Let me have a look. There's a 3-second penalty for multiple warnings.
The Ferrari driver's definitely not having a good day around here. Still under the virtual safety car. Will not be upgraded to a full safety car. So it will be lifted here momentarily. You're currently watching Sonic Hawk in the Alpine running in 6th. Just waiting for his opportunity to go and pounce on Chain Game Wow ahead of him.
These drivers now have to be really careful with this VSC because the Delta can drop as Schweier gets a drive-through penalty, so does Karen Robb. Karen Robb with a drive-through penalty. This is what these drivers definitely did not want.
And you know, the way that happens is they're just toying with the delta that you get when you're under the virtual safety car. You get about, 30 seconds to slow down when you are going faster than that delta. So if you time the delta and speed off, and then the safety car is lifted, you will theoretically gain an advantage on your competitors. But if you don't time it right, then that's where you're picking up those time penalties. You really have to weigh your risk versus reward there.
Chain Game Wow and Cassidy are still fighting it out as TRT Trench and Morris are getting closer.
Here's Cassidy. Took a minute to get to him. and Chain Game Wow. Really, that's the closest battle that I'm seeing on track at the moment. A lot of cars running close together, but not a lot of overtakes. Of course, with the rain, we do not have the assistance of DRS. So these guys can't just wait for a DRS zone, then activate it and shoot around them. They have to pass them on pure pace alone.
Well, I do think that the rain might be drying up in the next 10 to 20 laps. So we could maybe at the end of the race see as Luke Bailey gets a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane as he retires from the session. It's unfortunate for the two Alfa Romeo drivers who both are out of this Austrian Grand Prix. But Omer is now on the back of Calvin.
So Omer in the McLaren.
Oh,
that was a huge wiggle. We both saw that one.
Yeah, got my live reaction there.
Of course, Omer, he won a race just a few weeks ago. It was his second race ever, actually, that he told me, and I found that just incredibly impressive.
Shui with the fastest lap, 1:13.190. I think Calvin's definitely starting to struggle, as the gap in front of him with 2.3 seconds is slowly getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
So do you think that Calvin is on a dry weather setup?
I'm just going to have a quick look at his driving style. Looking at the way he just went into turns 3, I think he definitely is on a dry setup. But looking at this weather, I think most drivers are on dry setups. I may just getting a little bit squirrely coming out of turn 3 again.
Alright, so Bossy, we're riding on board with Calvin. I want you to analyze what it is that you're seeing and how you can decipher the setup just by watching their driving style.
Right, so we'll begin the analysis when he starts here, lap 9 out of 36.
Still a tight battle nonetheless. Omer just trying to bide his time, 0.6 of a second behind Calvin. Not in the points bank position yet, but it looks like a few of the drivers ahead of him are going to be blinking and pitting.
I think they're serving their drive-thrus if I'm not mistaken, but this analysis is based on sole opinion. So having a look at Calvin as he comes into turn 1, he's braking very early and getting that tight right hand into turns 1 and through turns 2. Now Austria, this here where Calvin's just going through now is turn 2. Up through to turns 3, going a little bit deep, having to slow down quite a bit as car in front gets a little bit squirrely. He's got massive trainer cars behind him as Calvin now. Coming down to turns 4. Calvin braking just before the 50-meter board, about 75 meters, having to slow down and almost lock up his rear tyres. And through turns 5, about to approach turn 6. Braking ever so early, like ever so earlier than all the other drivers, heading through turn 7 now. Flirting with the margins, turn 8. Now this is where it's going to be more decisive to come through turns 9 and 10, having to brake really early and get the real tight right hander. Same here for turns 10. That's how, him being slower in those corners, having to brake a lot earlier than some of the drivers, that's how I think I can tell that he's on a dry setup, because we can now see that there is a massive train of cars behind him. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, almost 5 cars behind him now that are trying to be overtaken. There's Omer. This is really the battle.
Yeah, and one of those cars is actually Shu is, Omer, he's going underneath him, but then the Haas of Carwin Robb trying to go around the outside of the McLaren. And Carwin Robb is right on the back of that McLaren now as they race down into turn number 4 and looking right underneath of that McLaren, but not close enough to make a move. Just teasing him, just seeing what is there. Omer getting close to Calvin Racing once again, but it almost seems like he gets stalled out and he can't get around him. I would say that it's dirty air, but it's raining. So I don't know what it is with Omer.
I don't know, but there is another battle to the top for the second position between Cassidy, Chain Game Wow, and Sonic Hawk.
So now we switch our focus to Sonic Hawk and right up over him. Chain Game Wow just ahead of him. In third place, Cassidy in second. Of course, a lot of the drivers, they had to serve drive-through penalties. Shu and Carwin Rob, 2 of them.
Carwin Rob getting a great drive out of turn 1. Might have cut the margins a little bit, but I think he's going for the overtake on Omer this lap. He's getting really, really close to the back of that McLaren. I think he's going for the move now, heading into turn 3, in turn 4. Going for the move on the inside, McLaren. Ooh.
Omer shut the door on him, and I can't say that I agree with that move by Omer. Carwin Rob was obviously there. That was not your corner. It was a contested corner.
That might be one for the stewards maybe, but I don't think any damage was made to Omer's. Ooh.
Might not matter. Carwin Rob trying to go back around the outside. It's going to be a side-by-side battle. Omer versus Carwin Rob. Who is going to win out of this battle here? And Carwin Rob shoots ahead of the McLaren, but will he keep the position? It looks like he will, at least for the time being. Down the front straightaway, Carwin Rob P10 with a time penalty. Omer in 11th with no time penalties.
Yep, Chain Game Wow and Cassidy squabbling. Sonic Hawk slowly getting back into the mix. He goes really deep, almost makes contact with the back of Chain Game Wow. Chain Game Wow with a great drive heading out. Oh, he's gone! Chain Game Wow spun. Possible front wing damage as he backs out into oncoming cars. Let me have a look at his front wing. That front wing doesn't look healthy. I think he's in the box for a new set of inters and a new fresh front wing.
So Sonic Hawk gets promoted to the 3rd position after a mistake from Chain Game Wow. Cassidy still in 2nd. Maxilrus leading this race by 5.9 seconds. 12 of 36 laps on the board so far. And look at Trench slowly working its way up into 4th now.
Trey even good double fighting. Carwin Rob, sorry. He's catched up to the back of Calvin as SFR Senna Martin gets a 2-second time penalty for multiple warnings.
Senna just has not had a great day, and really he's had a questionable season. Oh my goodness, and a McLaren is spun!
Oh, it's Omer.
So Omer is around. It does
Front
not
wing
look
damage
like
for
he's
Omer. Front wing damage for Omer. He is missing completely that front right end plate. He's in the box. He's going to be in the box next lap. Lap 14 out of 36. The new set of intermediate and a new front wing. Next game with the fastest lap is 1:12.835.
So Omer is very lucky that he did not crash out of this race. That was a hard hit into the wall, but definitely some apparent wing damage, as you said, on that McLaren.
Car slowly gaining to the back of McCauley.
McCauley in 6, Kara in 7. Kara, your GP4 champion from last season.
My teammate.
There you go. So this is sort of like a little bit of nostalgia for you, sort of like old times, watching your old buddy in action.
Yep, me and Kara were GP4 Renault Constructors Champions. All season.
The days when I was commentating on GP4. Little did I know that you would be joining me in the comms box the next season.
Yep. And I'd be your race engineer for a few races during GP5.
Exactly. And that my GP5 teammate would be Gizlodian, a driver who I've commentated on, I think, since I started in SFR.
Gizlodian was in GP4. We were battling out in GP4 for a point.
Let's take a look at Trench here. Oh, what about Carwin?
Carwin Rob's gaining quite a bit on the back of Calvin.
So we'll take a look at Trench's teammate instead, Carwin Rob. He got a 3-second time penalty, but he is not letting that hold him back. Carwin Rob looking underneath of Calvin Racing, not able to do anything with it at that time through the final corner, and still can't get a run on him.
Sonic Hawk with now a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. Possible team orders at Alpine is Sonic Gold now in second, Cassidy now in third.
Yeah, they made that switch a couple laps ago, and I was wondering if Sonicok caught him on pace and passed him, or if Cassidy let him by, but now that you can see the difference. Oh, on the outside, it's side-by-side. Carwin Robb gonna really get close to this Williams. Some contact out of the hairpin. Carwin Robb does not make the move, stays in ninth. Calvin Racing motors away.
Schwabe though, look at Schwabe.
Oh, and there goes Schuhl right underneath of Carwin Robb. It's gonna be a side-by-side battle through turn number 4. Is the Haas or the Alpha Tauri gonna be the one to win out?
It's gonna be close no matter what the result.
And Carwin Robb in 9th, 10th is Schuhl. Lap 16 of 36, just over 20 laps to go here in the Speed Force Racing GP2 Series Austrian Grand Prix. Max Urus leads Sonicok and Cassidy. Trench and Morris, your top 5. You are watching the battle for 8th position between Calvin, Carwin Robb, and Schuhl.
Akara now down on the back of Macaulay. Whether he makes a move heading into the next in turns 3, turns 4. He's going for a move. He's going down the inside. The outside, sorry. Cuts across Macaulay. Gets a great drive heading out of turn 3. Macaulay gets a little bit squirrely again coming out of turns 3. Kara gets the move done, but Macaulay's going to try and get back at him. Going for the lunge down the inside, gets squeezed by Kara. Kara squeezes him. Macaulay just gets that position back. Fairly. Stats up to the stewards.
So Kara in 7th, Macaulay now in 6th place. No other battle between these two guys except, well, each other.
Cassidy's in for the pits.
So Cassidy pulls in. We'll go take a look at Carwin Robb, who is still close to Calvin. This is the battle that's pretty much been going on for the past 2 or 3 laps at the moment. Carwin Robb might have a run on Calvin here into turn number 1. Let's see what he does. Calvin trying to go on the defensive. Carwin Robb does not have enough time to get by him, so he has to fall back in line. A little bit of a wiggle out of the corner by Calvin Racing. Carwin Robb in 8th now after Cassidy has made his pit stop, but Calvin got a much better exit out of 1 than Carwin Robb did.
Contact between the Red Bull and the Aston Martin car, getting a poor exit coming out of turn 3.
So does Kara go for the lunge underneath him? He does! Oh, and Macaulay was expecting it. He gives him the room. Macaulay still holds on to that position, and Kara had a little bit of a wiggle, so he's dropping back even further now. Just behind them, Carwin Robb still putting an immense amount of pressure on Calvin Racing in the Williams. On board with the Haas driver, Schuh just trying to follow him through. There's nothing that he can do. Carwin Robb had it down to a 10th of a second between the two, but cannot seem to get underneath of that Williams.
Macaulay's in the pits.
Carwin Robb trying to defend, switching gears a little bit here. Oh, and he wiggles, and he is somehow able to hang on to it. I thought that his race was done there for a minute.
Schwabe's going for it though, Schwabe's going for it. A little bit of the squeeze, but fair racing. X-Game over, another 3-second time penalty.
Man, the Ferrari guys are just not having a good race today.
Yeah, Senna was 6 seconds time penalty, X-Gamer with 3 seconds time penalty, others on 3 seconds, so not that many penalties to hand out, but still quite a few.
So with Carwin Robb running in the 7th position, very far off from where I think most of us expected him to run.
As he's into the pits. So Schwabe. Oh, Schwabe almost went into the back of Carwin Robb. coming into the pits. Luckily, they didn't. Is that? Did I just see a set of dry tyres in the pit lane?
I don't know. Let's take a look here. It does not look like there are any dry tires. Carbon Rob on the intermediate. Still every driver actually on the intermediate. So not sure what it was, but it was not a set of dry tires going on the car.
There's a battle for Carbon Rob coming out the pits. He's going for the lunge.
Does he get the move done on Gadabo? Gadabo with a better exit out of the hairpin. But Carbon Rob, he's going to have that preferred line going into this next corner. And he is almost undoubtedly going to be outbraking this McLaren. He does, but Gadabo fights back, and he fights back hard. Stays on track, no contact between the two, but Carbon Rob ultimately wins out on this little battle. Move him up into the 10th position. Now Shu going to try to pick off the McLaren. Oh, and Shu wiggles.
In the pits.
So now the pit stops are starting to take form. Of course, no other tire that they can go on to except for the intermediates. The wets would just be too slow around this racetrack in the current conditions. Lap 20 of 36, the laps winding down. Looks like it's Max Lewis's race to lose.
It is currently a chain game out with a 3-second time penalty. Max Lewis currently is just coming through the finish his second sector.
Shu diving underneath of Gadabo, and he gets the move done. Move Shu up into the 11th position, now giving chase to that Haas once more of Carbon Rob. Macaulay just ahead of him, but both of these guys, they have time penalties. 3 seconds for Macaulay and Carbon Rob, both 6 seconds for Gadabo, 3 seconds for X Gamer, Chain Game Wow, and Sonicock, and 6 for Sita Martins up there in 5th.
Well, this is going to be the last Austrian Grand Prix for the divisions this week. Next week is Silverstone, obviously. GP1 was there last week. Do we have any thoughts on Silverstone?
Well, me personally, with Silverstone, Stowe Corner, Maggots, and Beckett's, that area, that's very fun and very satisfying when you get it right. But other than that, it is really just Silverstone. I think I'm just going to have to wait and see. Turn 1 is very fun, and then the rest of the track, I'm honestly probably going to be cussing.
Maybe, maybe not. There has been obviously a few track changes around Silverstone, especially coming through the final sector. They have narrowed the track heading down into turn 16, 17, I want to say. But definitely in that final sector, the hairpin has been made a lot tighter and a lot harder to come in, so you have to slow down quite a bit. Plus, with this new game, it's a lot slower overall, the track itself. With average times of 1 minute 27.
Well, I'm excited to see how Silverstone drives in this season, but honestly, it's not been a track that I have liked or really cared about too much in the past, so it's going to be sort of mixed feelings entering Silverstone.
Yeah.
But we have got a battle on track between Sonicock and Sita Martins. Trent sort of in this mix as well, but he is keeping his distance and just waiting for the right time to get around these two guys.
Yellow flag, sector 2, something's happened. Stoxy 9's gone off.
So the Williams of Stoxy 9, he is back and rolling.
Does he have wing damage is the question. Let's have a look. No, he does not. Maybe very minor, but he does not have wing damage. Sonic Hawk and Senna.
Oh, and Sonic goes around Senna, but will he clear him? No, he does not yet. Now goes Sonic around him, moves Sonic up into the 4th position, Senna down to 5th, Trench into 6th, but now Trench may be going into 5th place because he is fighting with Senna as well. And Senna backs out of it just a little bit, but he's not going to let Trench go that easily.
Been a disaster for Ferrari, I think. X-Gamer has front right end plate damage.
Ferrari's sole hope at points today is laying on the shoulders of that man right there. Senna Martins in 6th place. He has 6 seconds worth of time penalty, so he will drop down anyway. But maybe he can salvage a points finish.
We do have to remember he still has not to pit. He is on 22 lap old intermediate tyres. As he spins into the wall.
And as that's happening, we have a 3-car battle for the 8th position. Carwin, Rob, McCauley, and Shu. Oh, and is it going to be 3 wide down the straightaway? No, but there's contact between the Haas and the Aston Martin. Carwin, Rob in 9th, McCauley in 8th. We are 3 wide now. We are definitely 3 wide. And McCauley is the sandwich in the middle. And somehow they make it by some contact between all 3 guys. McCauley in 8th now, moving in front of Carwin, Rob, and Shu staying in 10th place. Carwin, Rob on the inside, going to try to get around him with some contact still between the 2 drivers. How they don't have wing damage, I have no idea. But McCauley, with the momentum on the outside, is able to motor by, but be careful with those track limits, McCauley. Here comes Carwin, Rob with a better exit, and he dives down underneath at just the last moment. Carwin, Rob making the move around McCauley, but he still cannot get it done. McCauley has the speed on the outside. Oh, and there's contact, and Carwin, Rob spins. Carwin, Rob spins, and McCauley in 9th. Shu is promoted up into 8th place as yellow flag in Sector 3. Something's wrong with McCauley now. He is slow.
I think he might have been letting Cara and Rob back past. I think he did realise that it was his fault and he has let the driver back past. Whether it's going to do anything for his race now, they're being 15 seconds behind where they started off.
So, if you find yourself in a position like that, to where you have, accidentally pushed a car off the track, unjustly, or spun them as we just saw, can you give the position back and then be penalty-free afterwards?
I don't think so. I think giving the position back is just a gesture of goodwill. It will be thought. I'm more than 100% sure it'll be thought in the steward's office. And I'm pretty much positive he'll be either given 1 penalty point or 2 penalty points on his license for the move. Plus maybe another 3-second, 5-second time penalty.
Well, McCauley, as you said, it's definitely not going to do a lot for his race. Back there in 12th now, no points finish for McCauley, at least not at the moment. He still might have a chance to get back up there, but Carwin Rob, he is definitely the big loser out of that. He would be in 8th place now if that had not happened. Shu, though, the big winner, getting up into 7th. So your pole sitter still has a shot at a top 5.
Especially with time penalties, maybe even more. There is still 11 laps to this race. We've almost lost it, heading out of turn 3.
And there's 3 drivers up there, the top 3 drivers, who have yet to pit. Maxorus, Morris, and Cara. And I really do not see a scenario to where the intermediate tires could last all 36 laps. Maybe, but I find it being highly unlikely. So the question is, when do they pit?
I think it's got even worse for McCauley. I think he might have had an accident because he's now dropped down to 13th. Senna has just passed him.
So Senna spun, and then McCauley had an issue with Carwin Rob. They find themselves together on track. Carwin Rob in 10th. Shu still in 7th as we are watching now. We'll go and take a look at Trench, though, because Trench is getting closer to Sonicock in the 4th position and might be making a move around him. Could have maybe had it, but not quite close enough as Carwin Rob sets the fastest lap, a 112.006.
Here they go.
And Trench is going to make the move this time. He dives down at the last possible second. He's underneath of Sonicock. It's going to be a side-by-side battle. Does Sonicock let him go? No, he does not. Oh, my goodness, and there's contact! Sonicock turns Trench into the wall, into the gravel. Now Sonic back on the track. Cassidy, his teammate, is approaching quickly. Does Sonic let him by? What happened there? Did you see anything that stood out, Bossy? Because that's not a move that Sonicock would normally make, at least not without making a mistake. I'm almost wondering if maybe he got some wheel spin and it turned him into Trench?
I'm just having a quick look at the replay. So as they come out of turn 4, Trench has moved over into Sonic Hawk's path, Maybe by on purpose, maybe by a little bit of wheel spin. Looking at Sonic's positioning of his steering wheel, he's gone to avoid the collision, so I do think it's a racing incident, and TRT Trench has gone into Sonic.
Well, Sonic got very lucky that he did not lose more time than he already had. I do question, though, the condition of that front wing. You've got to imagine that there's got to be at least some minor damage to it. But Cassidy doesn't really seem to be catching him all that quickly, so maybe Sonic dodged a bullet there.
Maybe so, but we do have to have a look. Is this track going to start drying up, and if so, when are these top 3 runners going to pit? Xarius almost on 30 lap hold intermediate tyres.
I don't know, but here's a little food for thought for you, Bossy. Is Maxorus, Morris, Caro, as we know, they more than likely are going to have to pit. They are the top 3. Sonic running in 4th. He is 25 seconds behind Maxorus. So, that falls dangerously close within the window of Sonic maybe being over to overtake these guys.
I do have another question. Do you have to pit when it's wet weather? Because with the wet tyre, you can, if you have wets at the start of the race, you do not have to make a pit stop for the entire race, I don't think.
See, that's always been my understanding, is that you don't have to pit, but your tires might make the decision for you, and that's what I'm wondering is, are the tires on Maxorus, Morris, and Kara going to make that decision for them? Because 36 laps on any compounded tire is an insane amount of laps to be doing, and I'll be honest, I do not have any wet weather practice around this course. I have no idea how long they could last. I have seen hard tires last over 30 laps at Monaco, but I don't know about intermediates.
I've just had a look at the in-game rules. Due to the wet weather and the drivers not being able to switch onto different compounded tyre, e.g. C5, C4, C3, a driver on intermediate tyre does not have to make a pit stop, because they cannot change their compounded tyre anyway, only for a fresh set. So they can technically go till the end of the race on these tyres.
Kind of wish that I could be a fly on the wall in their cockpit right now and see what their tire wear is, because you got to think, Morris especially, whereas he's had such an up and down race, his is probably the worst for wear. But then Kara, he has made his way up through the pack as well, and Maxorus, he's probably the best so far because he has led most of this race, so he's been able to conserve his tires. He's at least had the opportunity to. So Maxorus is also 10 seconds ahead of Morris, which means that it has been his race to lose for quite a while. He just really cannot make a catastrophic mistake, but I'm sure that he's kind of wondering, should he pit, should he not pit? But this is going to be an interesting one, and if these 3 drivers are able to stretch it to the end, then I can officially say that that's the longest I have seen any
yellow flag,
it's
Macaulay. Macaulay's had an incident. He hasn't got any damage to that front wing, but he is struggling.
Looks like that was just out of the exit of turn 1. Macaulay's back rolling now.
Godobbo, what is happening to Godobbo? He's all over the place.
Well, he went wide out of 1 there. You don't want to do that. That's a great way to pick up time. Oh my goodness, and Godobbo off and into the grass once again. Drops down to 9th. Carmen Robb going around him. Not sure what happened there.
I do not know, but maybe he's having big issues with something. He's struggling to brake heading into turns 3. And his steering looks off. Chain Game Wales caught up majorly to him. Let's have a look at him heading into turns 4. And he's letting Chain Game Well by, it looks like. Does he have some sort of invisible wing damage?
That, I don't know, but he is very, very slow. In 10th place now, and probably going to lose 10th place to Senna Martins at the rate that he's going. Senna is catching him at an alarming rate. So not sure what's going on with the McLaren. Let's see if he dives down into the pits and decides to retire the car, or really what he's going to do. Is he going to stay out? I think he is. Yeah, he is staying out on the race course. So something wrong with Godobbo. He apparently doesn't care. He just wants this race to end no matter what.
Sonic Hawk now slowly gaining on Kara. There is still an 8.4, 8.5, 8.6 second gap between the drivers.
Lap 31 up 36, the final laps winding down. The top three drivers, 30 laps on their tires. If Sonic is able to pull this off, it will be his best result so far of the season. Granted, with the time penalty that he has, 3 seconds, his teammate will still overtake him, but it will still be a top 5 run for the boss man if the race were to end right now. If he could somehow find about half a second over his teammate, then it can be a top 4 instead.
Let's have a look at things. Yeah. Let's have a look at gap leader. There's a yellow flag. It's a Ferrari. Something's happened to Senna.
And McCauley, 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane, and he has retired from the session.
So something's happened to VSC deployed. VSC has been deployed.
And this is about to make or break somebody's race.
I think Senna's going to retire maybe from the session. Because he's just gone past Omir under VSC. No, don't know what's happened there, but something's happened. Oh, TRT Trench is gone. TRT Trench is gone.
Looks like he stopped on the front stretch. What has happened to Trench?
He has no front wing, it looks like. Well, he's lost a little bit of front wing. Let's put it that way. Will there be a safety car?
No safety car yet. It's lap 32 of 36. I'm almost wondering if it's too close to the end of the race for a safety car to come out.
These drivers now need to be really careful for drive-through penalties.
Oh, and Trench spins it again. He goes off into the grass.
Something's happened to the Ferrari. Oh, he's retired in the session.
So still under virtual safety car. Trench trying to get it turned back around.
Trench is gone. He's lost his front wing completely now.
What is going on with Trench right now?
I do not have a clue, but he looks like he's struggling to get this car back under control. Senna Martins with a drive-through penalty.
And Trench can't even make the hairpin corner with that lack of downforce on the front nose because he literally has no front wing. Trench is going to be in for a grueling lap here until he gets back to the pits, and I'd say at that time he will probably just retire the car.
Senna's now into the pits. Does he retire? No, he doesn't. He continues. Oh, he does retire, sorry. Senna has retired from the session.
Calvin Racing getting close to Carl and Rob. They had a battle early on, and looks like they're going to have a battle once more to end off the night. Calvin Racing trying to get around them for 7th place. He does not have a time penalty, though, so he will get the position anyway, as long as Calvin can keep it clean. The best thing he can do is stay behind this Haas driver, because there is no chance that he is going to pass Shu. Shu is more than 6 seconds ahead of Carbon Rob, so Calvin just needs to stay within 3 seconds of the Haas, and he will be able to jump him and get 7th position at the end of the day.
Would like to say some quick breaking news. Sonic Hawk has caught 4 seconds in the last 2 laps to Kara, so these drivers are struggling.
Unfortunately, I think it's going to be all for naught. If maybe we had 4 or 5 more laps, Sonic Hawk could really take advantage of this, but I don't see him pulling off a win out of this, especially with it being lap 34 or 36.
Yellow flag, it's a McLaren. Omir.
That was in the final corner, but it looks like he is back and rolling. Omir in the 11th place at the moment, just outside of the top 10. His teammate Gadabo is going to be scoring points for McLaren if the race ends as they run now. Lap 35 of 36, the laps are winding down. Maximus Morris and Kara, your top 3, with Sonic Cassidy, your top 5, Shu, Carmen Rob, Calvin, Chain Game Wow, and Gadabo, your top 10. Then Omir, Stocksy 9, and Trench, the only 3 cars left on the field.
It's been a very interesting race, this one.
That it has. It's not been the nail-biter that maybe we were hoping for or expecting when We heard that it was going to rain, but it's definitely not been short of entertainment. We see a lot of differing strategies. We've seen some virtual safety car that's thrown spanners into the works. You got Maxorus, Morris, and Kara that are probably going to be the mad lads that they are and go 36 laps on those intermediate tires. With it being as close to the end of the race as they are now, there's no logical explanation for them to not. So really, it's looking like it's just going to be one of those races to where you just kind of had to be lucky. You know, Maxorus, he was up there, and Shu had problems. Maxorus got up into first, and he's just been able to stay there.
Yep, as it is now the official final lap. Lap 36 out of 36. Team Exarius is leading, followed by Morris, then Kara, then Sonic, Cassidy, Schwade, Karen Rob, Calvin, Chingame, Alcadobo, Karen Rob with a 3-second penalty as Omer almost spins into the wall, Soxy 9 and 12, and Trenton 13. Whether time penalties will make a difference, whether Sonic can catch up in the next lap.
So Maxorus, your leader right now, as Carwin Robb sets the fastest lap, a 1:11.354 for the Haas driver and your points leader. He might not be able to win the race. He might not be able to finish in the top 5, but he's going to get the fastest lap and try to increase that points lead. But it is Maxorus that has pretty much been in command almost all race long. He started toward the front of the grid, found his way into first, and he never looked back and has now put 9.4 seconds over Morris in second, Kara in third, 4 seconds behind our second place finisher, and already Maxorus looks like he's celebrating. You do not want to celebrate too early, my friend. Wait until you get to the front straightaway, and he comes out of the final corner, crosses the line, and Maxorus will be your Austrian Grand Prix winner. Morris in second place, a good points day for him, gaining a lot on Carwin Robb in the championship standings. And then the Red Bull of Kara finishing in third. His first podium, if I'm not mistaken, of the season. So congratulations to Kara. And Sonicok with a fantastic result, a top 4 in his second race back after a 3-week break. Cassidy in 5th, his teammate, so a good day for Alpine all around. Your pole sitter of Shu in 6th place. Carwin Robb, your points leader, finishing in 7th, but Calvin will jump him because of time penalty. So Carwin Robb down to 8th and Calvin in 7th. Gadabo jumps to 9th. Chain Game Wow all the way down to 10th place. Should be able to keep that position as he is only 30 seconds ahead of Omer. So no chance of Omer jumping him in time penalties. Omer will finish in 11th, Stocksy 9 in 12th, Trench in the 13th position.
Interesting race, quite a few battles. Hopefully we don't have rain for Britain next week. Who's your driver of the day, Tim?
My driver of the day. Now that is going to be a difficult one.
Shall we have a look at the position changes?
We might need to, but here is your official results for the Speed Force Racing GP2 Series Austrian Grand Prix. Maxorus in first, Morris in second, Kara in third, Sonicok in fourth, Cassidy in fifth, Shu in sixth, 7th is Calvin, Carvin Robb in 8th, 9th is Gadabo, Chain Game Wow in 10th, Omer in 11th, 12th is Stocksy 9, Trench is 13th, 14th is Senna, 15th is X-Gamer, Macaulay in 16th, 17th, Luke Bailey, 18th is Crowhawk. And my driver of the day, Bossy, it's going to have to be between Sonicok and Maxorus, but I think I got to give it to Maxorus just because he was a driver who I really did not expect to win this race. And as someone has pointed out to me, he really did not make any mistakes today, where a lot of drivers did, even the championship contenders. So I think just by that alone, Maxorus does deserve the recognition.
Yep, and I couldn't agree with you anymore. I'll start getting the guys in for their race interviews.
So here momentarily we will talk to Maxorus, Morris, and Kara. 2 Red Bulls and a Mercedes. Oh my goodness, imagine if this was real life Formula 1, the fireworks that would go on in that room. In fact, now here's a scenario for you. Lewis Hamilton, Max Verstappen, Toto Wolff, Helmut Marko, and Christian Horner all stuck in an elevator. Just think about that one.
That would lead to some very interesting conversations. Let's
Breaking
put that
news,
one.
Lewis Hamilton has signed for Red Bull Racing. Oh,
Breaking news, Max Verstappen has retired from Formula One.
after never winning the championship, he retires at the young age of, 22, 23? I don't know how old the guy is.
He isn't. When did he get his first podium? Was it when he was 18?
17, I think. Just waiting for our
Right.
top 3 drivers to join in, if they want to, of course.
Where are they? So it was Maximus, Cara, and who else was it? It was Morris, wasn't it?
Yeah, Maximus, Morris, and Cara. Do we have anyone in? Oh, there we go. Well, Cara's at least here. We'll give the other two a quick moment.
Gonna get G Maxarius' driver of the day banner sorted out for him.
So we might not be able to talk to our top 2 finishers, but oh, no, there we go. Morris has joined in too. So now we're just waiting on our winner. We will give him another minute before we start our interviews.
Not sure whether G-Max will come, because I think before when I've done an interview with him, he didn't speak much English. Don't think.
Alrighty, well then we will commence with our interviews, and if he joins, then we will be able to talk to him. Otherwise, congratulations to him. But before we start, please make sure that you have allowed your voice to be shared. If you don't know how to do that, please go over to the party settings, click Always Allow, and let me know when you're ready.
Yeah, ready.
Alright, so first things first, let's talk to our second place finisher, Morris. You had what I think would be best described as an up and down day. It seemed like you were everywhere on the racetrack except winning the race, which is ultimately what you wanted to do. But you finished in second place, and you gained on your points competitor of Carmen Robb. Not sure exactly by how much yet, but Carmen Robb finished in 8th, I believe. So that means with you finishing in second, it's a decent points gap margin. How are you feeling after this race?
I was feeling alright, to be fair. Qualifying was going pretty well, and then Shueya put in an amazing lap. So I was happy to qualify, what was I, P4 on the grid, I think I was. It was a good quali. Getaway was pretty poor. The initial getaway in the wet, I just didn't want to slip. And then I got sandwiched between 2 cars on the first lap on the second straight, or the one after the long one. So after turn 3, I got sandwiched. I had to lift off and to let, I think it was it was Sonic and another driver by, I don't know who it was. But I had to let 2 drivers pass me, so I slipped down to P6 quite quickly. And then my original strategy was to go for a 2 stop, sorry. But then Mansell, my engineer, went, have you thought about the 1 stop yet? He was like, what percentage your tyres on? My tyre wear was pretty good, so we decided to go for the 1 stop, and it worked.
Well, so far it looked like it worked out for you. Even though it's not a win, like I said, it is a great points day. Does this help your confidence or your overall outlook over your potential championship chances?
Yeah, it helps a lot because I haven't actually gained any points on rubber any race this year, which has been very frustrating because I'm very similar pace to him. I've messed up quite a few races, had 1 race of bad luck, but no, it helps me out a lot. I saw that when Rob was behind me on the grid, I was like, oh god, I don't want to crash into each other. But no, it helps out a lot. And then going into Britain next week, a home race for majority of drivers anyway. But yeah, it should be a good race.
Well, congratulations on your second place finish, Morris. We will go and talk to our third place finisher now, that being your GP4 champion from last season, and now a podium finisher in GP2, Kara. So, Kara, your teammate wins the race. You finish in third, so it is a 1-3 for Red Bull today. And pretty sure you gained a decent amount in the constructor standings. How are you feeling about that?
Hello to all of you. It was a great result for the team, to be honest. Maheras got a perfect result and got the win. His pace was very strong, and I think that we can battle for the championship to the remaining races. So now to speak about my race, it was it was a poor quality, to be honest, because I couldn't get the lap done, and I started pretty back of the field. But I tried to keep my composure, and eventually I got to the podium, which was my target. And I think that getting a podium to GP2 after last season win in GP4, it is a great achievement for me, and the development is very good, I think.
So, with your third place run today, are you thinking about making a run at the overall championship at the end of the season? Because I'm sure that there's part of you that wants to, for lack of better words, defend your GP4 championship by at least contending for the GP2 title. But it's really been a big step up. So I guess a two-part question to this is, how's the transition from GP4 to GP2 went?
Well, I see that this season GP2 is a lot more competitive than GP4, because all the guys are close to pace and to the qualies, and this is pretty competitive, and it is a lot. It is very different from GP4. And you have to keep in mind other things like strategies and pit stop more than the GP4. And I think that this can can transform you as a driver overall, because the competitiveness makes you to push harder and to be good day by day. And of course, I would like to be in the first places of the leaderboard. Well, to be honest, my results was not as I wanted, but this podium makes me feel stronger, and I will push to the limits on the remaining races, and especially to Silverstone, because it is one of my favorite tracks, and I think that I can be on the podium next week too.
Well, congratulations to your podium finish today. Did we get Maxlerus in here by chance?
I think Maxlerus just messaged me saying he's unable to make race interviews.
Okay, well, congratulations to him on that win. Regardless, Bossy, do you have any closing thoughts?
Not really. Just good luck to you guys in Silverstone, and yeah, just try not to crash.
Wise words from Bossy Gaming, and I think that I can echo that sentiment greatly. And with that, that is all the time that we have. So thank you all so much to the drivers who raced with us. Congratulations to the podium finishers. And thank you to everyone that watched the stream. And until next time, good morning, good evening, good day, good night, wherever you are in the world. Have fun, and goodbye.